name is Anna McKechnie.
And I'm Luke Curran. Together tonight we present you Scarfie TV.
On tonight's show, we find out who this year's OUSA presidential candidates are.
We look into the ins and outs of Women's Week.
Take a look at this week's sporting happenings.
We investigate the current gastroenteritis problem.
And discover another Artist of the Week. Nominations for the OUSA presidential elections closed last Friday, with a record number of candidates running for a variety of positions. In this first instalment of a two-part report on the elections, Paul Jones talks to 4 of the 7 nominees running for the OUSA president next year.
Campaigning for the OUSA executive elections is well underway, with a record total of 57 candidates. The swell of nominees follows a wide-scale campaign to raise student awareness of elections initiated by current President Paul Chong. Chong was elected last year uncontested as the only presidential candidate. This year there has been a 700% increase in the nominees for president, with 7 candidates looking to claim the title. This week we talked to Michael Baker, Holly Lawford-Smith, Renee Heal and Tim Couch about their candidacy for president and the issues they see as important.
The main issue I'm going to stand for is being a candidate that stands for all students, and I guess that's going to manifest itself in me wanting to get rid of the SGM, those student general meetings that don't run very well. We get quorums 1%, and whether we get that's kind of debatable, and we don't really hear the student voice through that. So I want to be part of setting up a student council, okay, so 30 or 40 students that are elected each year, and I think that will be a fair reflection of what students want. It's
not as though I think that there are a lot of huge problems with the organisation that I need to come in there and fix. I'm definitely not running on that kind of line. I've had a great year, and I think that it's a really great organisation and we do lots of good things for students. I think there are some areas that we could be stronger. So the 3 things I'm running on are assets, brand and campaigns.
One of my key campaigns is that the student behaviour policy that's currently being written is drastically unfair on students, and I really want to go in all guns blazing and fight that as much as I can.
My number one gripe is actually the health levy that's supposed to be raised. I went into the general exec meeting last night and I heard the proper numbers. It's being raised by a substantial amount, almost 20%. That's the levy that you pay at the start of the year, and then also the price of each individual visit that you go to is also being raised. This shouldn't be allowed. I think that's just too much. Like, maybe either way is one or t'other, but don't raise them both.
Candidates agreed on some issues.
Refuel for all.
Get refuel back on its feet.
But most election promises were as diverse as the candidates themselves.
Having big organised protests and mobilising the student body.
Looking at increasing sporting facilities.
Another policy I have is I want to get big debates on big issues.
It needs to be a sustainable campus, and I know that's one of the big things that the Greens are pushing for, and I fully agree with them on that.
Speaking of Greens, the politicization of elections by various left-wing groups on campus caused mixed reactions from our candidates.
I quite frankly think that's ridiculous. OUSA is about student issues and student representation and student facilities, so we're supposed to be offering a service to all students.
I think it's a good thing. I think that heading down a right-wing track is the wrong way that this university is going.
I say good on them. I think it's wonderful that people are keen to be politicising student politics again.
With having a big Greens ticket or left-wing ticket, I wonder if you're actually really reflecting the student voice.
Next week, we hear the other side of the story from Students Organised for Action presidential candidate Ian Fraser. We also talk to our remaining 2 candidates, Kenny Newstub and David McQuardet. I'm Paul Jones for Scarfie Television.
This week is Women's Week around Dunedin, and various people and organisations are gearing up to bring women's issues to the public. Kushla takes a look at what's on the agenda for the week and talks to OUSA Women's Representative Lindsay Price about what can be expected.
For the first time since the early 2000s, OUSA is making a real effort to resurrect Women's Week. Organised by OUSA Women's Rep Lindsay Price, the week plays host to a variety of events aimed at a broad cross-section of women on campus.
The big thing in the past, they've just kind of done smaller, small-scale events, catering to a smaller amount of people and to probably a smaller group of people who'd be interested in coming. So I really wanted to make it big, mainstream, get lots of people involved, raise OUSA's profile a bit more as well.
This year's Women's Week focuses on women achieving a work-life balance. Price arranged a variety of speakers to discuss how they achieve a work-life balance in their chosen careers. The speakers include a captain in the New Zealand Army, former graduate Kieran Malcolm, and TV3 newsreader Hilary Barry.
Hi, I'm Hilary Barry, and from August the 8th until August the 11th, it's Women's Week, and it's shaping up to be bigger and better than ever before. To start the week off, you're invited to come and have lunch with me on Tuesday, the 8th of August. We're going to start the week off by discussing the work-life balance which the majority of women face, and which will be the focus issue of the week. Wednesday's the ladies' afternoon out with two amazing speakers. Thursday is the Inter-Hall Army training. Sounds interesting for those of you who are game. And Friday night, the finale, Pamper Trail. Come along for live music, classy food, and to be pampered by an array of talented hairdressers, beauticians, fashion consultants, personal trainers and much more. Man, I wish I was there. If you go to the Otago University Students Association office, they'll be able to tell you more about the week's events, and you can purchase a $10 delegate pass to all the events during the week. It comes with a delegate pack, which includes freebies, invitations and more. I can't wait to see you then.
While a considerable amount of thought and time has been put into making this Women's Week better than ever, it appeared that the majority of the students Scarfie TV questioned knew that there was a Women's Week, but didn't know when it was or what it involved.
I know it exists and that it's happening soon, but I don't actually know when.
No, I don't. I only know that there is a Women's Week, but I don't know anything about what's going on or anything.
No, I didn't know it was even on. Is it this week or...?
However, here's hoping Women's Week is a success and not another promotional lesson for OUSA. I'm Kushla Norman for Scarfie Television.
Now over to Andy to bring you Scarfie Sports Zone.
Thanks, Anna. On Sports Zone tonight, we'll head up to Moana Pools for a spot of social water polo. Every Wednesday night, the dive bar at Moana Pool sees dozens of people hit the water to compete. This week is the 4th out of 10 rounds of this year's water polo schedule and is shaping up to be an exciting competition. There are 9 teams this year that contain students of all ages and all skill levels. Many of the teams have people that have never even played before and really seem to be enjoying the new sport. For those of you who have never watched a game of water polo before, it is a great spectator sport, so head up to Moana Pools on a Wednesday evening for a look. That's Sports Zone for tonight's show. Back to you, Luke and Anna.
Thanks for that, Andy. On a different note, gastroenteritis has become a considerably topical issue in the past few weeks. However, most are unaware that Dunedin has had its fair share of the virus as well. Sam brings you the latest on Dunedin's gastro problem.
This year has seen the Otago student community hit hard by the dreaded virus gastroenteritis, with various outbreaks having erupted around campus.
What was it like when you got gastro?
Terrible. Just shat for like 3 days and didn't leave the floor for from Wednesday till Saturday. It was horrible.
The virus is basically a gut infection that causes stomach cramps, vomiting and diarrhoea. It is very common and is often caused by unclean food or water.
We've got sanitisers in the kitchen now, so you wash your hands before every meal.
Following an extreme outbreak of gastroenteritis at Unico in April of this year, the hall went into lockdown for 2 days, ensuring that the relatively small number of those affected did not contaminate the wider public.
Well, they had the men in the Ghostbuster suits coming in and they were just they were spraying everything, so it was pretty safe in a couple of days.
We actually just left Unico after we got over it and went and stayed in flats instead.
You hear people throwing up in the bathrooms and stuff.
We spoke to Nigel Grant, the Health Development Manager for Public Health South, about the incident.
A particular instance it was people in the hostel, they isolated those guys that were sick. They got them to use particular bathroom facilities and keep the well people separated, and it was more a matter of probably keeping it contained rather than perhaps going into the ED and things like that.
Whilst health authorities advise that the best cure for gastroenteritis is fluids, rest and light meals, they do not wish to deter anyone from seeking urgent medical attention when necessary.
It's just a matter of staying at home, particularly staying away from work or where you're caring for other people. That's probably our main advice to people.
With careful management and cooperation, the outbreaks within the student community have been dealt with promptly and effectively. Sam Morra, Scarfie Television.
On this week's Artist of the Week, Mandy talks to Andrea Kingan about her love for art and looks into some of her artworks.
Now in her 3rd year at Otago Polytechnic School of Art, Andrea Kingan majors in printmaking. Kingan has a unique style which often depicts girly innocence with a gothic undertone. Kingan sees the importance of aesthetic art and wants each viewer to have their own take on her work.
I do heaps of like little girls and faces
and evil fairies.
King believes that printmaking best suits her style.
I like that there's heaps of different methods of printmaking, like screen printing, etching.
In her spare time, Kingan does commission work, and some of her work can be found in the Roslyn Gallery.
I put my artwork and some of my prints in the art competition that they have.
This is Mandy Doherty for Scarfie Television.
From all of us here at Scarfie TV,
stay Scarfie, Dunedin.